Hello, everyone. Welcome. Please bear with us for just a moment while we make sure
Hello.
everyone gets in from the waiting room. All right. So, we are excited to have you with us today for this webinar, The Entrepreneur's Toolbox 22 Tech Tools to Streamline, Automate, and Scale Your Business. I'm your moderator, Jenny Alton from the New York Small Business Development Center Central Office. The NYSBDC is your host today, and the NYSBDC is a U.S. Small Business Administration resource partner with regional centers at higher education institutions and outreach offices at other locations across New York State. Our free business advising, education, research, and advocacy services are made possible by funding from the SBA, New York State, and our host campuses. I am very pleased to introduce your speaker today, AJ McQuarrie, who is an entrepreneur, speaker, and author by trade. So, we are recording today. We will share a link to a copy of the slides and the recording in a follow-up email. Attendees are muted and will not be on camera today. Your chats will be visible to me and AJ. I also want to mention that Zoom's closed captioning is enabled for this session if you need that feature. If you have questions during the presentation, we invite you to drop them in the Q&A box as they come up. You can open the Q&A box, the chat, all of those features from the buttons that are at the bottom of your Zoom window. AJ will address questions after his presentation. That is all of my housekeeping, so I will now turn the time over to AJ.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am so excited to be here today. This is an action-packed presentation. Okay, there's going to be a lot of information. We're going to go pretty quickly here, and I want to make sure you get the most out of this. So we are going to start. I'm going to give you a lot of information, and then we'll have some questions at the end. I'm also going to give you a chance to schedule a call with me at the end because it is going to be a fire hose of information, and I want to make sure that if you have any questions or anything like that, we'll have something at the end. So stick around. Let's just I can't see anybody here right now, but like just raise your hands out there if you've had that you've signed up for that free shiny new tech tool, right? Free trial. Maybe you forgot about it, you never used it again, right? Or even worse, you sign up for that free trial, you forget to cancel, you never even used it, and then they ding your account $150 a month later, right? This happens all the time. It happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us, rather. And we've all been there, and that's the problem, I think, with tech tools today, right? There are so many tools, so many platforms, so many options, and so many things AI, especially with AI, is screaming out for our attention that it's starting to feel overwhelming for not just for us as business owners, but for our prospects as well. There's a lot of noise out there. So today, we're not just going to be chasing these shiny objects. We want to start by thinking about building better systems for our business. Okay. Powerful tools are going to ultimately position you as the authority in your industry. It's going to have you be the digital marketing expert, the content marketing expert. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Okay, I want to make that very clear right now. It does not matter the industry that you're in. It's going to apply to everybody. Okay. Um, so I want to make sure if you just take home one or two nuggets today, that's a huge win. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of information. So, tech changed everything for entrepreneurship. It's never been easier. It's never been faster. It's never been better to start and grow your business than it is today. So I want to make sure you are not falling behind on this. This is going to be a fire hose of information, a lot of information. It's very fast. It's by design that way. If you feel overwhelmed by the end of this, that is okay, and that's the point. There's a lot of stuff out there. Technology is overwhelming. Technology is moving fast. So I want to get through all of this. Originally, I had it as 22 tech tools, and I went through specific tools, but I switched it up for tech tips. Okay. So we're going to go through some tech tips. And I want you to initially go through this and not see things as an expense. Okay. I want you to see these tools as an investment. Look at them through that lens. If a tool costs you $30 a month, but it saves you 5 hours a month, that's not just a software subscription, right? If your time is worth $80 an hour or whatever you're calculating it at, that is ultimately, it's going to be capacity, it's going to be sanity, it's going to help you a lot, and it's going to help you follow up. Um, every tool earns its keep in one way or another. So I want you to see tools as either saving time, money, or energy. If it doesn't do any of those, any one of those doesn't save you time, doesn't save you money, doesn't save you energy, then what are you doing? Right? Maybe it's not all three at once. If it's a scheduling tool and it saves you 5 back and forth emails, that is time. That is worthwhile. If it's a CRM and it keeps you from losing a lead and a lead slipping through the cracks, that is money. Okay? And if it's a business phone system that lets you stop answering client texts at 9 a.m., that is energy. And entrepreneurs, right? We're entrepreneurs here. Energy matters because burnout is very expensive. We've all been there and we all only have so many hours in the day and so much bandwidth. And do not forget about opportunity cost, right? The deals you miss by not having the right systems in place, the hours you lose by having to do everything nitty gritty and getting stuck in the weeds. And that follow up that never happened because of everything that we just talked about. Okay. That's a cost. And sometimes the most expensive tool is the one you refuse to use because you don't want to drop the money. So, a little bit about me. I have one of those cheesy stories. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 10 years old. My first business was a bargain basement store. I ran out of my parents' house. Maybe you have a story like that, maybe you don't. It does not matter because entrepreneurial skills and attitudes, they can be developed. You don't have to be born this way. You can learn how to think and be an entrepreneur. You can learn how to build systems, build the tools. You can learn how to sell, market, and follow up. Um, I'm the founder of KGHQ, Keep Going Headquarters. Like Jenny mentioned, I wrote a book, Craft Your Comeback. I have my MBA from Boston University. I was a contestant on the show Dragon's Den. It's the Canadian version of Shark Tank. I went on the show twice. The second time I got offered a $100,000 investment. The first time Kevin O'Leary called me a cockroach on national television. That was fun. And I started a business, the first business that put me on the map, so to speak, the one worthwhile would be Karma Box, the one worthwhile mentioning. Is a healthy vending company. I scaled it to 89 cities in 3.5 years. And I did all of that by using technology, by leveraging online marketing, by building systems, by building support, sales development, that sort of thing. We grew very quickly, and we ended up eventually closing down. We grew too fast too soon. I went through a huge bankruptcy. It's part of my craft your comeback story. But this is just a little bit about me in case you're like, who's this guy and why is he so obsessed with freaking tech tools? That's a little bit about me. I was also the president of the National Speakers Association SoCal chapter. I no longer live in California. Unfortunately, I am in Boston, which is a great place to live, but I miss the weather over there. Um, so yes, let's go on. Um, so I want to just address a point here that it's often not a time problem, right? A lot of us say, a lot of entrepreneurs will say, oh, if there were only more hours in the day. And with technology, especially with AI, that's pretty much irrelevant these days. It's a systems problem. You just don't have the system set up. Maybe you don't trust the systems. Maybe you're skeptical. Maybe you just don't know anything about it and you don't know how to set it up. But it's going to be a systems problem, not a time problem. And that's whether you like AI or not. I think that's one of the best things that comes out of this whole tech revolution that we're going through. We are, I'm sure you've heard, but some folks are anticipating there's going to be the first billion-dollar solopreneur. So it's going to be one business owner in one company with 1 billion plus in revenue every year. I'm just saying that and I'm illustrating that because it's not about time anymore. Again, it's about systems. Once you fix the systems, time stops being the bottleneck. Everything we talk about today is about replacing willpower with systems. Willpower is fragile, right? Willpower gets tired. Willpower forgets to follow up. Willpower says, oh, I'll do it later. Systems do not. If you have the right systems in place, your business is going to thrive. Okay. I want to introduce you to someone who we're going to talk about throughout this presentation. Her name is Susanna. Susanna runs a dog walking business and she loves, loves, loves what she does. And she's great with the dogs. She's great with the clients. She knows the neighborhoods. She remembers which dogs like which treats. But 6 months ago, her business looked like chaos. Sticky notes everywhere, missed bookings, double booked Saturdays, clients texting her on 3 different numbers, payments coming through Venmo, checks, cash, and oh, can I get you next week? And the dog's details buried in old text threads. Okay. You get the idea. This might sound familiar. Maybe you're not a dog walker. You probably aren't. But I like to use this as an illustration because if a dog walker can use these tools and leverage this technology, so can you. Okay? No matter what you're doing, no matter what industry you're in, you can leverage these tools and this technology. So, for Susanna, the answer was not just one magical app. It was a simple stack of tools that are all going to work together. A place for leads, a place for bookings, a place for taking payments, a place for client notes and client information, a place for marketing, communication, content strategy, everything. Okay. Um, everything is this is all going to be broken up before we dive into it. This is all going to be broken up into 3 different phases. Okay. So there's going to be 22 tech tips, but 3 different phases. The first one is to get organized. The second phase is to automate and simplify. And then you're going to scale and then you're going to grow. Okay. Are we ready to get started? We're gonna ready to dive into these tools. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of information. It's going to come at you quickly. Take notes, but this is also going to be recorded so you can reference it later. And then I'll be at the end, I'll give you a code if you want the slides and if you want some information. I'll share all of this with you as well. So don't feel like you have to take notes on everything. Feel free to sit back, listen, and yeah, let's get started. Let's jump into these tools. So get organized. Um, for Susanna, before we picked a single tool, we mapped out the actual workflow. Okay. Someone asks about dog walking, right? Maybe she's even at a networking event and she says she's a dog walker and someone wants more information. Or they come in and they're trying to ask about dog walking. Then Susanna needs to check if the service is in her area. Then she needs to know what kind of dog they have. Then she needs to schedule the meet and greet, right? So it's like you're looking out, you're zooming out. She needs their emergency contact information. She needs vet information. She needs to explain the pricing. Then she needs the client to agree to the policies, right? You get the point, but that is what you need to start off with. Before you automate, before you scale anything, you want to fix the foundation. Get organized, start thinking, start being clear. Okay. Um, Susanna is going to start with the workflow, not the tools. Like I was just saying, it's writing sticky notes. You don't want a sticky note system. One sticky note for clients, one sticky note for keys. You want to start with the workflow. That's the lesson here. What happens? Think of your customer journey. How are they coming in? What happens? How do you find them? How do they request information? Are they coming in from your website, right? Where are all the different ways your customers are coming in? Is it inbound only? Is it outbound? Zoom out, think of the system, and think of it as one big tool, okay? Or one big workflow, not just the tools. So just really take a moment, zoom out, and think about that, okay? Tools, they don't fix the chaos. The system is going to do that, okay? Tip number two, you want to build your digital home base. So one place where everything lives. Emails, files, forms, calendar, documents, client information, business assets. If your tools don't talk to each other, you then become the integration. So again, before we're even thinking about tools, we're thinking of the workflow. And then we're thinking of where is all of this going to live? How are we going to access everything? It doesn't mean it's not going to just be one tool, right? It's going to be multiple tools, but you want to make sure that they talk to each other, they're integrated, okay? Because I want you to start thinking, I mentioned opportunity costs earlier. You are expensive. If you have to do everything, and it's not just your time, it's the bandwidth, it's the energy. How many of you sometimes it's like you have to just send one email and it seems like you have to climb Mount Everest, right? Our days are busy, our days are hectic. We only have so much bandwidth. And so by having to do everything and by not having this digital home base where everything is located and everything is centralized, it's not going to be good. Okay. If you're the one copying and pasting, you're the one searching for emails, you're the one asking, where did I leave this? It's going to be all over the place. I'm going to bring up a few tools. And by the way, if I ever mention a tool, it's not me, it's not NYSBDC recommending the tool or endorsing the tool, just full disclosure. It may be an example of a tool that I use or I've helped or my clients use. Um, I just want to just have that disclaimer because I'm going to kind of throw out some tools throughout and I'll try to give multiple examples if I can. Um, but yeah, build your digital home base. I'm going to talk a little bit about a few tools throughout. Um, a good digital home base, right, is a good place to start is Google Workspace. It's actually not $12 a user a month. It's $7 a user a month for their starter plan. There's Google Workspace, there's Microsoft 365, right? But I can't tell you how many people that I talk to that don't have the basics down. And the other day, it was someone they had a at gmail.com address and they're charging a lot for their services. And I was just like, that's why you're not getting customers. They're seeing you're charging a fortune for what you're doing, but you're showing them that you are not as polished and you don't have everything under one roof. So Google Workspace is the one I recommend. You can have your Gmail, your Drive, your Forms, your calendar, that sort of thing. But you want to have everything centralized in one place. Um, for Susanna, right? This changed everything. She stopped using her personal Gmail for business. She created a professional email address. Hello, it's SusannaDogwalking.com. She now has this inbox. She created Google Drive. She uses calendar, forms. You can use it for everything. So it's not five random apps. This is just one centralized location. This is just an example of one. There's another one that we'll talk about, another tool, Zoho One. But Zoho One is another place where you can have a digital workspace and a whole operating system for a lot of different tools in one. Um, but tip number three, you want to capture every lead. Okay. This is something I see. I know this sounds very obvious. It's like, of course I do. Well, are you? How are your leads coming in from your website? What happens? Are they just sitting in some spreadsheet somewhere? Like, what's going on? So you want to capture every single lead. You want their phone, whether it's a phone call, you want to have someone calls you for your services, you want to capture their information, their name, phone number, email address at the very least, and you want to store that in a CRM and some type of database, which we'll be talking about shortly. If it's a direct message, right, you want to capture that lead. You want to make sure, even if they just message you, you want to get their name and their information, whatever you can get, you want to capture that. You want to put it in your database. You want to capture a referral. If it's a walk-in, a contact form is easy, right? That can be automated and it's automatically captured and stored. But if a human raises their hand and say yes, or I might buy from you, or I'm interested in buying from you, that has to land somewhere that you can find tomorrow, that you can find next week, that you can go back next year and say, let me go back to the people who raised their hand that never ended up signing up. Because if it's only in your head, it's already a risk. And I see this all the time. It's like everything is just either in your head, on a spreadsheet, on a piece of paper somewhere, right? And I used to always say when I would talk to prospects, I would always ask them about their tech stack. And I would say, what are you using for CRM? And I stopped asking that. I started changing it because whenever I asked it, about 60% of the people would say, what's a CRM? And I'd be like, okay. And no shame if you don't know what it is, we'll be talking about it. But it's like a lot of people are very far behind. So if you're feeling far behind, you're not alone. That's why you're here. And like, good on you. You want to learn a little bit more. You want to get better with this tech stuff. But these are some basic ways to do it. Um, if it's not tracked, it's lost revenue, right? If it's not tracked, does it even matter? If it's not, I forget who said this chart, but they said, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. It's the same idea. It's like, show me what you're tracking, show me what you're looking for, and we'll see what you truly care about. Um, Susanna, right? Leads are coming in from everywhere. A neighbor DM'd her on Instagram. A current client texted, "My friend needs a dog walker," or however the case may be. Someone found her on Google. Um, those opportunities for a lot of small business owners are often scattered. Now everything can go into a CRM. So a CRM is a customer relationship management system. That's what it is. And it's a database. It's essentially it's a list of every person who showed interest at some in some way or another in one place. Um, I recommend Zoho. There's HubSpot. There's a bunch of others. There's so many different CRMs out there, but Zoho is a very powerful one. Zoho One is a very powerful tool because it includes Zoho CRM and it includes Zoho Books. It includes Zoho Forms. It includes Zoho um, campaigns for email campaigns. So you can, and it's 37 to 45 bucks a month per user. So you don't need PandaDoc if you have Zoho One because you have Zoho Sign. It includes Zoho Sign, Zoho Books, Zoho CRM, and it's 37 to 45 bucks a month. I highly, highly recommend it. I preach and live off of Zoho, and I preach this to all my clients because it's an amazing tool and it consolidates all of your tech stack into one. Again, going to that digital home base, I highly, highly recommend it. But a CRM is very important because it's not just tracking your leads, and where they're at. It's you also have your customers in your CRM, right? You can see your customers, their interactions with you. Everything can be in there. With my vending business, I learned this very, very early on. I was placing ads online and I was getting leads and I was all over the place. I was overwhelmed, and I won't earlier on, when say the first few days, I only had say 50 leads, 70 leads, 80 leads, and then it just becomes impossible because it's very, very, very hard for you to be able to track everything, keep track. If you have more than 50 leads, you need a CRM. If you have more than 20 leads, you really, really should get a CRM. Start that early, start that soon if you don't have one. For Susanna, her CRM became her memory, right? She can open it up and see who she needs to follow up with, what tasks she has on the list, who's waiting for pricing, who booked their meeting, who needs a contract or a proposal, who's not responded, right? This is where the CRM comes in. All right, tip number 4, build a simple pipeline. Do not overcomplicate this. Most of you need 4, 5, maybe 6 stages max. Okay, a pipeline is just a visual way to see where people are at in the process. It's going to help you answer very simple questions. And one very simple question is, where is every opportunity right now? Ask yourself that. Where is every opportunity? And where are we at with these opportunities? For Susanna, her pipeline became very simple. New lead, working, negotiation, close one, and lost. Very, very simple pipeline. And each of your leads are going to be in one of these categories. So someone requests information on your website, boom, they come in as a new lead. You call them, they might not answer, you might just leave a voicemail. You send them an email, you add them to a sequence, they start getting an email campaign from you. That's now working. You're working that lead. You end up talking to them, you have a great conversation with them, you pitch to them, boom, you send them a proposal. And now you're in the negotiation phase and you're going back and forth. And then the next one is pretty simple. Is it close won or close lost? Did you get the deal or not? Right? That's it. Susanna does not need to overcomplicate the sales process. She just needs to know who's interested, who's booked, who's active, and who's ready to refer. A pipeline is not just organization, it's a diagnostic tool. You're going to be able to go in and see all your new leads, all your leads that are working, all your proposals and where you're at with negotiation, and then which ones closed, won, and lost. And with Zoho CRM, with any CRM, you're going to be able to build simple reports and see all this very easily. And you're going to be able to see where people get lost in the pipeline, right? It's like, they're getting lost early on, even before we can send a proposal, right? Keep it simple. All right. Standardize your intake. This is pretty straightforward, but you want to stop asking the same questions over and over and over again in texts, emails, DM. Every single client should get the same form, same questions, same process, right? Welcome to XYZ company. You want to have some type of onboarding form. Every time you manually ask the same questions, you're spending time on something that the system could just do for you and store all of that information. For Susanna, this was huge. So her intake form asked the dog's name, breed, size, age, temperament, leash behavior, feeding instructions, medication or allergies, vet information, emergency contact information, right? Preferred walking schedule, payment preference, permission. Do I have permission to post photos of your dog? Anything the dog's afraid of? Before Susanna asked these questions manually every single time. Now the form does that for her. So there's Google Forms, it's free, it's simple. There's Typeform, it's prettier, conversational, and there's Zoho Forms. So if you have Zoho, and Zoho Forms is amazing, by the way. I think it's better than all two of those other ones. Um, it's more workflow heavy, but it can also be a very simple tool that you use. But you know, um, the form does the asking for her, and this is where AI can help. Susanna can take the completed intake form and put it in ChatGPT. Summarize the dog walking intake form into a one-page client brief with key safety notes, schedule preferences, and any red flags. Boom. She has a doc right there for every single dog that she's walking. She has a clean dog profile, no, not a messy form, not a bunch of scattered answers, a usable brief. That is a system, folks. For me, we have a few ways. We have an AI, you could call a number and it asks you questions and you talk to it. You could do it that way, or you could fill out a form. But every single client that signs on at KGHQ, they fill out a form. We ask them 10, 12 questions, some very basic ones, some more extensive ones. And then I take that information and we can build a brief using AI. So we know a lot more information about the customer. We can put together better strategies for our clients and that sort of thing. So forms can be great. Tip number 6, centralize everything. Files, contracts, SOPs, one place. If your team or your future you has to ask, where's that file? You've already lost time. You should know where everything is, centralize everything. Um, you don't want it stuck in your head. Okay. For Susanna, we created a very simple folder structure, client folders, dog profiles, contracts, invoices, routes, SOPs, right? Standing operating procedures, marketing assets, photos. Each dog gets a simple profile, dog name, owner name, walking schedule, behavior, all of that, photos, key instructions. Why does all this matter? Because someday Susanna's going to hire another dog walker, right? And she wants to scale. You don't want to just, some of you may just be happy being a solo entrepreneur. That's fine. But Susanna wants to grow. She wants to build a large scale dog walking empire. And the only way she's going to be able to do that is if she gets all this under control. So you don't want it to just live in your brain. You want to make it easy. Um, Centralize everything. Okay. Tip number 7, make it easy to close. I know that's obvious, but it needs to be said. Stop adding friction. The faster the customer can say yes, the more often they're going to say yes. That's the reality, right? I've heard the analogy. It's like the second there's friction with your customer, right? And it could be something simple. Just your form has too many fields to fill out just to request information. I don't want to give you all this information. What happens is it's like a treadmill, a mental treadmill that they feel like they have to run on, right? You're giving up you have a free um something you're giving away, just keep it very simple. Capture the information you need or that you want. Take a hard look at your process and your customer journey and ask, where is the friction? Where does someone have to wait? Where do they have to print something? Where do they have another question? Where do they get confused? Where do they disappear? Because friction kills deals. Make it easy to do business with you. Cash only? No. Make it easy to close. Take the credit card. The credit card fees are a price of doing business, folks. I'm sorry. I'm just very, I cash only businesses I can't deal with. Just make it easy to close. That's all I have to say. For Susanna, it's the old process was like, oh, let me send you my pricing. What? It's 2026. Your pricing should be on the internet. Okay. Can you print this? Can you text me your address again? Can you just Venmo me? Wait, did you sign the agreement? This is all friction. Her new process is very, very, very simple. An inquiry form, a booking link, a digital agreement, a payment link, an automated welcome email. That's it, right? You go from I'm interested to I'm booked in a few simple steps. Tools that can help you with this. I mentioned Zoho One, right? Zoho One has Zoho Sign. There's also PandaDoc, DocuSign, Stripe Payment Link, Square. There are so many different tools out there, other proposal tools, other payment tools. The lesson is not the tool here. The lesson is every single extra step is a chance for the client to disappear. Okay? This was phase one. Now let's move on. And I'm looking at the time here and I want to get through this. I might go a little bit faster for the sake of time. But automate and simplify. This is phase two. Now that we talked about getting organized in one phase, now we want to make it run with less manual work. So this is where you start to get your evenings back, right? This is where you can sit down with a glass of wine one night and enjoy it instead of drinking it over work. Organization is going to help you build the business, but the automation, that's going to help the business move without you touching every single little thing. Tip number 8, let people book without you. Stop playing email tag. Stop asking, does Tuesday work? No, how about Wednesday? I can't do Tuesday. Actually, Thursday morning? No, I have a conflict then. That kills the whole conversation. Scheduling should not require 4 emails and a prayer. Okay? It should be very simple and it should be very straightforward. Some people feel uncomfortable sending a Calendly link. I've heard this before. They feel like it makes them look like they're important or something. And here's my calendar link. Just schedule it with my assistant. It's not like that, folks. Now, I will say, give them the Calendly link. Calendly is the most popular one. I keep on saying Calendly, but Calendly is a great tool. Give them the Calendly link here, schedule with Calendly on here. But also say or throw it a few times that work for you this week, right? So yeah, for Susanna, a booking tool changed the game. So she created appointment types, right? Different types of events, um, free email, free 15-minute intro call, meet the dog visit, that sort of thing. Calendly is a great tool. There's a bunch of other tools. There's now Google Appointments. This is newer. So, Google's basically probably going to kill Calendly because you're going to be able to, you can now book right in Google Calendar that way. Um, there's Chili Piper, but that's a better tool if you have a big sales team and it can kind of automate and book with different people. Calendly can also do that as well. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I just think it's an important one to mention because I feel like not enough people are using these basic tools out there. Tip number 9, let's get paid up front. Deposits, retainers, recurring business billing, packages, subscriptions. You should have this all laid out very clearly so you are not going to be the bank anymore for your customers. Cash flow is survival these days. Profitable businesses, they still go under because of cash flow. There are in scenarios where a business was profitable and then they still had to close down because of cash flow. And there's a few famous examples like that. Every invoice you send, right? Net 30, net 30 invoice is a 30-day loan you did not agree to give. So charge up front when and where you can. For Susanna, getting paid up front changed the relationships with her clients. New clients pay first. Recurring clients go on weekly or monthly auto pay. I brought up Zoho a lot. I'm going to say Zoho again because Zoho One includes Zoho subscriptions, which you can integrate very nicely with Stripe. So you can just send them a subscription link. Hi, yeah, here you go. And they click the link, or it's on your website, and they click it and they enter their credit card information, and they're getting billed every single month automatically because you have that set up and you don't even have to think about it. It can be awkward, right? Chasing your clients for money. We've all been there. Um, but cash flow is survival. Susanna's no longer chasing for payments after a long day of dog walking. She's not sending those awkward texts anymore. Tip number 10, separate personal and business. This is very, very, very important. Your phone, your email, your bank account, your mailing address, okay? Separate them. Today, right now. Your personal address, I've seen this. I am shooketh when I see a small business owner and their business address is their home address. This is very alarming. We live in a crazy age. Okay. I went bankrupt when I was like 28 years old with Karma Box, my vending business. From personal experience, I'm going to tell you right now, separate everything. You don't know who you're going to deal with as clients, what's going to happen with your business. Separate it all for your safety, for your family's safety, but just for business best practices. A couple tools I'm going to recommend. Grasshopper. Grasshopper for a phone system starts at 14 bucks a month, and you can have your own custom vanity number. 1-800 grow my biz. I don't know, whatever. It can be a custom vanity number, it can be a local number. You have a phone tree. Hi, thanks for calling XYZ company. Press one for sales, press two for this. Simple tool like Grasshopper is amazing. Um, your mailing address, anytimemailbox.com. I highly, highly recommend that. That's a great tool. Starting at like 10 bucks a month, you can have a professional address with your own box and everything. So say you want a nice fancy New York City address, anytimemailbox.com, folks. And what it'll do, even if you're in Albany right now and you have a New York City address and you're in Rochester, New York, um, you don't have to be in New York City for that address because they scan your mail and you can scan it. They can ship it to you if you want it, but you get everything and you just log in and it's all digital. Anytimemailbox.com. If anything gets mixed together, your business is going to follow you everywhere, right? So it can get exhausting. Um, Business phone, I mentioned a few of them already. Ring Central is another one that does the trick. Google Voice is free. You can get a free Google Voice number if you want to just keep it simple. But you want to have boundaries, right? Um, boundaries built into the system, not your willpower. All right. Never miss a call again. Voice to text. With technology, there's so much out there. There's autoresponders, after hours routing. A missed call is a missed sale. Also, for most of you, I would say if you're trying to do business and a customer calls you and you get a voicemail, probably not the most professional thing, right? Um, you, unless it's like you're a super small business owner and a solopreneur, but I would consider either setting up an AI receptionist. There are several tools that are too technical that I don't even want to say right now, but you can have an AI receptionist answer calls for you. Um, I'll just say Vappy.ai is one of the tools. Um, but you can set up an AI receptionist or you can have a which is a lot cheaper. There are also answering services out there. So I mentioned Grasshopper earlier. Someone calls you, press one for sales. Grasshopper can call a bunch of numbers at once, like they can phone blast. And what will end up happening is they call some numbers and an answering service can be one of them that picks up the phone. Um, all right, let's move on here. We're talking about Susanna and her phone system. We don't need to talk about that anymore. Tip number 12. So if you do it twice, automate it. That should be your rule. If you do it twice, automate it. The second time you do something manually, stop and ask, can a robot do this? Not everything should be automated, but more things can be automated than most entrepreneurs realize. And a lot of it is you just can't let go. You can't let go of it. I need to do it, right? But just automate it. Modernize your business, folks. It's 2026. For Susanna, automation created breathing room. When someone filled out an inquiry form, okay, a contact is created in her CRM. When someone books a consult, a confirmation email goes out. When a client signs the agreement, a client folder is created automatically. A payment's received, a welcome email goes out. They make a payment, they get an invoice. When a walk is completed, a client update can be sent. All these little things. It's not about being robotic, it's about removing the repetitive work so Susanna can focus on doing what she does best, and that's being with dogs, being a great dog walker, the dogs, the clients, the relationships, the service. That's what these tools are going to let you do. Zapier is one that I highly, highly recommend. There's also make.com. There's Zoho Flow. I keep saying Zoho. I swear to God, I don't work for Zoho. Um, Zapier is a good one, though. It's a good tool. It's a good way to automate it. Tip number 13, track everything in one place. Revenue, leads, conversion, right? If you cannot see it, you cannot fix it. And if you cannot measure it, you're probably just guessing. Let's be real. A lot of entrepreneurs operate on vibes. A lot of us are like this, but vibes are not a strategy. Okay. Tip number 14, templates equals a time machine. So every template you build today is going to save you time next month or the month after and the month after that. Email templates, proposal templates, onboarding templates, social media templates, invoice reminders, review requests, client updates. Templates are not lazy. Templates are leverage. For Susanna, she creates templates for everything and she just kept writing. She take everything she kept writing over and over again. She just created templates for it. Okay. Um, you can ask ChatGPT. An example, it's Susanna, write a warm but professional email to a new dog walking client explaining the next steps after they book a meet and greet, blah, 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 and more details. Boom, there it is. You could do a lot of templates with AI. Speaking of that, use AI as your assistant. I can't see you all here, but I'd love to see a rate of how many of you are using AI. I would say a lot of you are. Um, still surprises me when I learn that entrepreneurs are not using it, but it's not a gimmick. It's not a toy. It's not something you use once to try to write a poem about your business, right? It's your teammate. It's your assistant. If you are not using AI in your business right now, you are way behind. Way, way behind. You are leaving hours and money and time and energy on the table every single day, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whatever it is, pick one, use it, learn it, get used to it, have it be your best friend and your sidekick. For Susanna, AI became the assistant she could not afford to hire, right? That's what AI is doing. It's democratizing things for us. You used to have to be a very wealthy person to get what you can get out of AI for free. You used to have to hire consultants and advisors and professional designers. And it used to cost a fortune to run a business, right? Not anymore. ChatGPT and AI, it's democratizing it. It's laying out the playing field for all of us. The saying it takes money to make money is kind of not so true anymore, right? Thanks to technology, thanks to AI. Yes, there are some expenses. And get and pay for it. Pay the $20 a month for ChatGPT. Don't be cheap. Make sure you're paying for the tools. Make sure you're getting the most out of them. Um, yeah, I could talk about AI for a long time. Um, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of tools. There's so many different tools um, that I could go through. For the sake of time, we're going to kind of move along. But yeah, AI helps you write faster, think better, and scale instantly. It's not the future. This is right now, folks. Entrepreneurs who learn how to direct AI well, they're going to leave everyone else behind. It's not that hard to learn. You just have to start. And if you didn't start yet, that's okay. Start today, start tomorrow, start as soon as you can. For Susanna, the first step was not that complicated. She opened ChatGPT and she started with help me organize my dog walking business, right? That one prompt started changing the way she worked. All right. We are going to fly through this last section here. Scale and grow. Now that you're organized, now that you're automated, your business is not perfect, but it is no longer living entirely in your head. Really nice job. We're getting there. Now you're going to grow your business without burning out. Turn content into growth. Okay. So this is where things get interesting. Okay. Especially if you're showing up already online consistently. If you're doing a podcast, you're doing YouTube videos, you're writing blog posts, you have so much content already. Turn that into more content. You could take your podcast, put it in AI, and get email drip campaigns for the next 6 months, downloadable PDFs and guides. You can have probably your next book through this, right? Written out. Um, it does not mean you have to become an influencer, but it means that you should become visible. That's the biggest thing. Be helpful, be consistent, be recognizable, and then turn that content that you're creating into growing more, into creating more posts. For Susanna, it became simple when she stopped trying to be fancy, right? Her content pillars became dog walking tips, local neighborhood walks, behind the scenes with dogs, client testimonials, dog safety tips, seasonal pet care, dog of the week, FAQs from pet parents. Then she asked ChatGPT, create 30 social media post ideas for a local dog walking business in Natick, Massachusetts. Make them friendly, educational, and trust building, right? Bam. That's how you're going to leverage this. That's how you're going to leverage the content. She started doing YouTube videos and she threw the transcription of those videos in ChatGPT and she can just have endless content and she can become a content machine. It's going to help you post regularly as well. All right, tip number 17, turn content into leads. So content that does not capture attention, that's just noise, right? So make it valuable. That's the first thing. Create good content for free. A lot of entrepreneurs are skeptical. They don't want to give away all their ideas, right? They're like, I don't want to tell them that. I want them to pay me for that. That does not work anymore, folks. That is not how things go in 2026. Okay, we want free information. We want a quiz, a checklist, a guide, a book, a downloadable PDF, a consultation, a newsletter sign up. Likes are nice, but email addresses are better. So you want to capture those leads. Susanna, she created the busy pet parents dog walking checklist, right? She then created 10 questions asked before hiring a dog walker, and then the new puppy routine planner. This is great way to capture information. There's a lot of different opt-in tools out there. Um, Zoho one. If you have Zoho, you're going to be able to have a lead capture form through Zoho Forms, but there's also things like ConvertKit, there's lead magnet tools, you can have pop-ups, landing pages. You want to provide free information in exchange for email addresses. That's the modern way to run a business. Tip number 18, build your email list early. I cannot say this enough. Social media is rented land. Email is owned. Okay? Your followers are not truly yours. They're truly yours when you capture their email addresses, and you do that by providing some great information. Tip number 19, use webinars to scale trust. Okay. Um, it can be webinars, it can be anything. Webinars are very popular. I'm here right now with you doing this free presentation, right? Um, it can be a webinar, it can be informational, it can be podcasts, workshops, Facebook Live, Zooms, however you want to do it. This can be a great tool as well. Tip number 20, we are almost there. Upgrade your website fast. I cannot tell you how important this is. Your website is your storefront. I don't care what industry you're in, what business you're in. If your website is slow, ugly, if your website was not done in the past year or two, you are behind. Your buttons are probably looking outdated. You're losing customers before they even talk to you, and you don't even realize it. Okay, your website does not need to be this massive, big, fancy thing, but it needs to be clear on what you do, who you help, who do you serve, how do they work with you, how should they trust you, what do they do next? That is the job of the website. And if you don't have a website, if it's not um, updated and clean and modern, you're losing customers. You don't even realize it. Um, there are a lot of really bad websites out there. I'm shocked when I talk to small business owners. I can't believe some of them are done, they look like they were done in 1991, and they had their niece do it last year for them. And I'm like, okay, that's why. Um, Tip number 21, use data to decide. Stop guessing. Numbers don't lie, right? What's your conversion rate? Where's the best traffic source coming from? What is your most profitable service? What offers get the most interest? These are just basic questions that you should know, that you can really find this information out instantly, very simply, if you have the right systems and tools in place already. And then tip number 22, the last tip, use AI to scale your marketing. Okay. Um, it's going to help amplify your voice. It's going to help you show up more clearly. Um, grab the conversations you're having with your clients, throw it in AI to help you find out more what problems they're dealing with, how you can help them um, create content from your conversations you're having with your prospects and your clients. There are so many different ways to do it. So this is the unfair advantage, okay? Solo founders running marketing departments, two-person teams running, competing with 20-person teams, right? Local businesses creating content, emails, websites. If you adopt all of this now in 12 months, you're not going to recognize your business. Not because the tools magically saved you, but because the tools helped you become more consistent, and consistency compounds. Okay. 6 months later, Susanna's fully booked. She's automated. She's growing. Same Susanna, same business, just better systems. It's that simple. You don't need more tools, but you do need better systems. So it's not all about I need to get 10 more tools. No, you might just need one or two more tools. You just need a better system, a better workflow to help you. So, my challenge to you, pick 2 to 3 tools to start playing around with this week. Not next month, not when things calm down. This week, block out some time in your calendar. Or better yet, throw time on my calendar. Feel free to use this QR code to sign up for I'll jump on a 30-minute call with you if we can do a whole tech audit. Complimentary. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'll do a tech audit on your tools and we can go through it. I'm happy to help you. If you want these slides or anything like that, also that's on there. There's a Calendly link. But yeah, yeah, folks, I hope this was helpful. I know towards the end I kind of flew through it, but for the sake of time, we're at 102 right now. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I'm sticking
AJ.
around for questions, so if you need, if
Wonderful. That's what I was just about to ask you.
absolutely
Okay, because we've got some great questions and I'm excited to go through them today. So, first off, and they're very helpful, awesome presentation in the chat there. So, do make sure that you view those, AJ.
awesome.
Okay, so let's start with this question. You mentioned Soho and you mentioned HubSpot. Could you talk a little bit more about comparing those two? We have somebody who had used the free version of HubSpot and so was just a little bit curious about how some of those features compare.
Yeah, so this is where HubSpot gets you. They have a great free version, but then the second you have to sign up, it ends up being a fortune. So I recommend Zoho um, because you can do pretty much everything you can do in HubSpot. HubSpot has a little more of the marketing automation. But I think you can even do that in Zoho as well. Zoho has a whole marketing automation and flow system. That's why I recommend Zoho One. Just go to one.zoho.com or zoho1.com and you'll see it. And it's 37 to 45 bucks a month per user. So HubSpot can end up being like thousands of dollars. And it's like major sticker shock, but they get you in by giving you the free version. You get used to it, you love it. And then when you hit your lead max, then you go to upgrade and it becomes a fortune. So yeah, that's part of the issue with that. You could get the same thing that you're getting at a HubSpot in Zoho. So I hear the story all the time from entrepreneurs who are like, yeah, I tried HubSpot, but then when I went to actually pay for it, it was too expensive. Um, so I highly recommend Zoho. And with Zoho One, you get I didn't even go through everything. So you get Zoho CRM, you get Zoho Books. So you don't need QuickBooks anymore with Zoho One, which QuickBooks is very expensive. You get Zoho Invoice. You can send all your invoices on Zoho. You get Zoho subscriptions, so you can send links and people can subscribe. You get Zoho Sales IQ, which is like Google Analytics on steroids. You put a code on your website, and you could track everyone, track your leads, and you get a chat bot with this. You literally get everything. You don't need to buy a chatbot software. You get Zoho Desk, a ticketing system. It's all included under Zoho One. You don't need Zendesk. You just use Zoho Desk. So if someone emails support at yourbusiness.com, a ticket's created. You can track everything there. Zoho campaigns, which I mentioned, so you don't need a MailChimp or anything like that. I'm a huge, huge advocate of Zoho, and they're one of the most popular and one of the best systems out there. And it's a whole business operating system in one.
All right, so key takeaways, look for all of those things that might be bundled together um, so that you can keep your costs down. All right.
100%.
So have you ever used virtual assistants like Marblism? Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay.
What is it called?
Marblism. So maybe get in touch with AJ after this and discuss that one.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
so
Marblism, AI employees to scale your business. Oh, I think I've seen ads of this.
mhm.
No, I have not. But what they're probably doing here is you could build the same thing, but they're probably just having everything under one. Oh, it looks pretty affordable too. 24 bucks a month to 44 bucks a month. Cool. Yeah, I'll check this out and feel free to throw time on my calendar and I'm happy to kind of go through some stuff with you all. Um,
Yes, and we have a request if you can put that QR code back up, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
That would be great. Thank you. Okay, so this person would love to see a quick Zapier or Zoho demo. They're curious to see what it looks like to connect all of these tools together. Is that something that you have like a recording of anywhere or that you've done at some point, AJ?
Throw time on my calendar. I'm happy to show you
Okay.
my Zoho on my Zapier. I could kind of show you the back end and how everything works. We use Zapier. We also use make.com, um, which is they're very similar, but make.com is a little bit more thinking and it can kind of go back and forth. And I can show you both. Yeah,
Okay.
please
That's a
throw time
wonderful
on my
offer.
calendar.
Thank you. What are some advantages to a ChatGPT subscription over the free version?
Yeah, so you can do a lot more. So, you won't have any limits. That's the first one. There are also some settings and things where like you can change some of the settings so you don't so it's not like taking all of your information and training itself on your information. And I feel like especially if you're a larger company, you have your enterprise version, there's just more security and more safety options for you for your company, especially with like customer data and customer information and that sort of thing. So it's a better version. You also have access to, I believe you have access to ChatGPT projects, which I'm a big fan of. I don't think the free version has that, and ChatGPT GPTs. I don't think the free version has that as well. Um, Gemini has Gemini Gems. It's the same idea. You can basically create a little, let's say, a good way to use a ChatGPT, like a GPT, would be, let's say, you have a VA in like the Philippines or India, and you have them kind of responding to customer feedback and inquiries and questions. They can literally just copy and paste an email from a customer into a GPT that you already programmed. So you could say, you could create a GPT for responding to customer questions and inquiries. And you program it, you tell it only use these FAQs, only use this information I'm providing you to answer and respond to these questions in these ways. So you can have a GPT, for instance, where they throw in the email and it drafts an automatic response. Um, that's just an example, but yeah, I highly recommend paying for it. If you're a small business owner, drop the 20 bucks a month. I started using Anthropic recently. All the stuff going on with OpenAI, and so I started to be like, all right, let me give Anthropic a chance. And Anthropic's really good as well. Claude. I am contemplating switching all of my business stuff in Claude and keeping my personal stuff in OpenAI. So then I'll have two tools, but you just pick one. I'm just being complicated with that, but
Well, you are a specialist, so
yeah.
I understand that desire to have all the tools.
Well, it's
Um,
crazy what ChatGPT knows about me now after these years of using it.
right. I love that you brought up the data privacy because we did have someone who brought up a concern about Zapier if they're in finance. And so definitely, I think that that is uh, a very good concern to bring up is making sure that whatever tool you're using has the level of the data protection that you need for the type of data with your business. Is there anything that you want to add about that, AJ?
Um, yeah, you want to be careful what you feed it. Um, especially like sensitive customer information, customer data. Um, I last year I had heart failure, which was very scary. I almost died. And it knows so much about me because I threw in my health records. I was getting like pages and pages of information from doctors that I didn't really understand and medications. But now ChatGPT knows all that about me, and it's probably not going to do anything with that information. But I was like an open book with my health and my information. But the tool can technically use it, keep it, store it. So you just want to be careful with the information you provide and the data you provide.
Thanks, AJ. Okay, next question. Your tip 21 was about data collection and organization. And this person would love to know a bit more about what you recommend for collecting and organizing data specifically.
Yeah, so it depends. There's a few different tools out there. You can keep it simple, right? And just use like say you have Google, you're using Google Drive, and you have like Google Sheets, and you could just store all your data that way. To organize it, there's also Notion, Notion.ai. They originally weren't AI, but they switched to AI. You could kind of create databases through Notion. Um, there's also Airtable, right? Airtable is another good tool to use to kind of create and organize your data. But now with Claude Work, Cowork, and Claude and ChatGPT, they you could throw in your spreadsheets, throw in your data. You might just have a lot of random data. You could throw it in ChatGPT or Claude, and it can organize it for you and create a spreadsheet for you, and you can export that spreadsheet. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and there are a lot of different tools. Free to schedule something, and I'll help you walk
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah. If you'd like more detail on that, make sure to get on AJ's schedule. Okay, so this person brings up a very interesting scenario. They said, we strategically do not have a website as our customer to employees ratio is already very heavy on the customer side, and we don't want to let down our current customers while answering new inquiries. So their question is, do you think a website can help automate enough to make it worthwhile for them to get one?
100%. Um, it also like it sounds like this is a common problem that entrepreneurs have, but you're just not leveraging AI and automation properly is how I'm hearing it. And it doesn't have to be sign up now and you'll become a customer tomorrow. It could be, and it's a probably better strategy to have a wait list, right? Join our wait list. Um we are so, and you wouldn't say it this way, but it's like the message you're sending is like, we are so in demand that you need to join a wait list to work with us, right? And it does, but capture that information, get their phone number, get their email, just store them in your database, and you can come back to them later. But yeah, I think not having a website would be a big mistake, this day and age, especially. Whether it's join a wait list, whether it's apply, right? You have them apply to become a customer, you have them wait, however the case may be, you can do that. And it can be a simple automation where they join the wait list and then they're just getting an email drip campaign from you for the next 3 to 6 months, and maybe once a week they get a new email from you and they're staying in touch, and then when your team has the capacity to take on a new customer, then you kind of reach out and do your thing. But yeah, there are a lot of different ways around it.
All right, it's a great problem to have.
Yes,
Uh,
100%. Good job, congratulations.
yes, absolutely. But definitely, you can still be leveraging that content like you talked about and keeping that person in touch with you. So thank you for those suggestions. Okay, so this person wanted to talk a little bit about Claude and Notion and your experience with those. I know you've talked about that already. Is there anything else that you would add on those two particular tools?
um no, it would
Okay.
take, I don't even know where I would begin with that. I will say Claude just launched Claude Design, which these slides, my old slides did not look as good as these new ones. I updated them using Claude Design, and my assistant cleaned them up. We took them from Claude Design and we imported them into Canva. You can do that directly through Claude Design, and then she cleaned them up. It still took a few hours, obviously, to do, but It was a very inexpensive way to have these nice looking slides. So, Cloud Design's very, very good. I recommend it.
Thank you.
But you need a paid version for that.
Right. Got it. Got it. Okay. Next question is okay, this person says, I have A1 or I 4B GHL. Can I do everything within that? I don't know what that is, AJ. Do you?
Let me see.
It's in the Q&A if you go in there. But they said, I'll continue, their biggest hangup is once a client completes an intake, getting that into a PDF form and then getting signatures.
Very, very easy through Zoho One.
Okay.
Throw some time on my calendar and I'll help you. That's
Okay.
really easy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There are definitely tools that can take that information and put it in the right format for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Zoho Forms can do that for you. They can send a PDF once they hit submit.
All right. We have someone who is using a Google spreadsheet for invoicing and would love to know a bit more about invoicing potential tools. They had mentioned Zoho. So if you could talk a little bit more about that.
If they're sending a invoice through, yeah, I would use I would definitely stop doing that immediately, and I would get something like Zoho One, and I would send invoices through. Um, and it's all really simple and doesn't take much to set up, but you could start sending invoices tomorrow through Zoho Books, and you could send out invoices, and they can pay you directly through there. You could do everything that way for
Okay.
sure.
I do want to check in with you. Are you still okay on time? Because
Yeah, I'm
we
good.
have more questions,
I'm good.
but okay.
Um, I also used to use Zero.com. That's a decent tool for invoicing if you just like want one simple one. And there are a bunch of invoicing tools out there, but Zero, it's Xero.com. And then yeah, there's Zoho Books. There's a ton of invoicing software out there, even if you just Google it.
All right. This question is interested about, or this person is interested in uh, how to host a website, do their domain name, and then get other support as well. So they've looked at Wix, Shopify, etc., those types of services. Is it easy to integrate Google Workspace, Zoho One, some of these other tools that you talked about with a website like that?
What was the website platform?
They mentioned Wix and Shopify as some
I'm not a
examples.
fan of Wix or Shopify. If you're selling online product, Shopify is great. But if you're not selling online product, I wouldn't use Wix or Shopify. I just recommend a WordPress website. And there's so many different WordPress builders and tools. Um, but yeah, all of the tools are very simple to integrate. They often have natural integrations one to one. You usually don't need Zapier for most of these. Sometimes you do, but a lot of them have direct integrations and workflows, like that they can connect directly to each other.
Yeah, and that brings up another, important point that we've been talking about, these things to look for when you're tool shopping. And those integrations are another one if you know that there are tools that you want to connect. So, great question from our attendee. Have you used Hello Bonsai, AJ? This person's seen it recommended a few times and is just curious how it compares to some other tools out there.
I have heard of Hello Bonsai. I have not used it, but I think from my understanding, you can kind of manage projects, client information, and everything in one. I have not used it, but it would probably be a similar tool to Zoho One. So it's probably very similar. You might just want to look at the pricing and compare and contrast, but I've heard of it. I have not used it. But yeah, I'm actually on the website now. Yeah, it's similar. Project management, finance management, scheduling, proposals, agreements, client portal. Yeah, this looks like a great tool. And it's pretty affordable. Starts at $9 a month to $49 a month. Because, right, these tools can add up, but yeah, this looks like a good one. I'm gonna do a little more digging. Thanks for sharing that.
Awesome. Okay, in phase two, you talked about separating things and getting, I know organization was phase one, and then so this person would like to know a little bit in phase two on finances, and especially with paying for knowledge and assistance before getting the business name registered. So they're like really, really starting up here very early.
Yeah. First of all, I hope you scheduled a call with me. I'm happy to jump on a call with you. I would say this is a tough one because it's like it all depends on where you're at, your background, like what you know, your experience. I would say don't think that you need to hire an expert to help you before you can even get started, right? Don't have that imposter syndrome. All of us as entrepreneurs are kind of just winging it and figuring it out as we go. And there's no right way, wrong way. Well, there's sometimes a wrong way, but there are often many different ways to do what you're trying to do. And you just have to figure it out, be confident about it. Definitely work with coaches or consultants if you have the means and the resources. But I would say just take the step and just do it and go for it. Um, the finance piece. I went bankrupt for $1.5 million in 2018, and it was partly because I was not tracking my numbers. We had $1 million in sales our first year, and I was looking at bank statements to decide on if I should take out an ad or not. Um, I finally hired a bookkeeper after we hit $1 million, and he was like shooketh. He's like, "How did you run a business without proper bookkeeping like this?" And I took it as a compliment. I'm like, I'm a businessman. I'm a good businessman. And I went bankrupt 2 years later. So I would say get that under control immediately. Make sure you have, whether it's Zoho Books, Zero, whether it's your all these other bookkeeping softwares and tracking, I would do that immediately. The second you have a sale, you should have something like that to track everything.
Thank you. And I do want to remind everybody of the services of the NYSBDC.
Yes.
We are free, paid for with tax dollars. So we are here to help business owners with all sorts of questions, from ideation all the way through to succession planning and selling a business. We help people at the throughout the entire business life cycle. And so I am not an advisor here at the NYSBDC, but we do have fantastic advisors who are extremely knowledgeable and would love to talk with you about ways to get those finances separated. And we've had AJ as a specialist on tech today. We do have some advisors who help with those type of issues as well. But any type of business need, the NYSBDC is here to help you. So just putting in a little plug for my awesome program.
100%. And with that, you have free built-in mentorship, which is it's invaluable. You can't even,
Absolutely.
you have business experts who some of them are still business people, but they may have been retired recently. And a lot of people just want to give back after they made it. They want to send the elevator back down, leverage those people.
Yeah, so I'm going to just drop our link to our website in the chat. If you're interested in finding out more, you can do that there. Okay, a few more questions then, AJ. So somebody noted that they did have projects in their free version of ChatGPT. So thanks for sharing that.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Yeah. Okay, so could you elaborate a bit more on the AI phone conversation for forms? And I'm actually going to bring this in to somebody wanted to schedule a call with you, but was having an issue with your virtual agent, and so wanted to know if there's another way to contact you.
Oh, were they trying to call?
Yes, yeah, they were trying to
Okay.
do it by a call. Hmm.
Oh yeah, that it might not be the right number on the website. That was probably I should have had that set up properly, my bad. But good call that it would have been a good ex way for you to call in and see how it works. I'll show you really quickly if you can hear it, but I'm just gonna press, let's see. I'm Kay, GHQ AI Business Advisor. Please provide your customer code. Anyway, you go through, you provide a customer code, and then it would ask you a bunch of questions, and it's very conversational. We can chat more about it, but I would recommend, I said Vappy.ai, that's kind of the big one, but you have to integrate it with a few other tools. Vappy needs to be integrated with something like Twilio, the phone system in the back end, and that's why I didn't really dive into that a little bit because it's a little bit more complicated, but it's at the same time pretty simple to do. It's not like overhauling your whole phone system, but yeah, and then that's integrated with ChatGPT so it can think and answer questions and have follow-ups. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Throw time on my calendar. I'll put this back on. I'll put this slide back on. Throw some time
All
on my
right.
calendar and I can show you how it can work, especially if you're getting a lot of inbound leads and inbound calls. Just have a virtual agent take care of them.
Okay.
And they're pretty straightforward and they're very conversational today. Oh, I'll tell you some of the tools. So for that, we use Vappy AI. We use 11 Labs, which is the voice tool, to make it sound very conversational. And then we use Twilio for the phone system. And then a couple other things, make.com. There's a few integrations there, but you can do it in a straightforward manner.
Okay. And I did just, if anybody has a technical issue, I did drop the contact page on AJ's website. So I'm assuming that that message can get to you as well if an attendee has a technical issue.
100%. You could just
Okay.
fill out that form and we'll get it right away.
Great, great. So there's your alternate method if you weren't able to
Thank
get
you, Jenny.
through.
You're so resourceful.
My pleasure. Glad to help. Okay, AJ, I think we made it through all the questions. Like that was a long list. So thank you for spending this extra
Yeah,
time with
sorry
us
we went
today.
over.
You know what? It's great information, and thank you for spending the extra time. And thank you to our attendees. You gave awesome, awesome questions, interactions. We really appreciate you. As we shut down, we will have a survey that will pop up. If you have a few minutes to give us some feedback on today's session, and then also other things with which the NYSBDC can help you as an entrepreneur, we would love to know more about your educational needs. That's what I work with here at the NYSBDC, but please go to our website if you are looking to get in on that free business advisement. We're just a fantastic resource. Very proud of this program to be a part of it, and also we're really great at connecting you with other resources in your community that can give you assistance as well as you work on whatever phase of your business you are in. Okay, so AJ, any last words for us today, and then we'll wrap up.
Enjoy it is all I have to say. There's so much opportunity out there. We're living in such an exciting time. I know it's scary as well. There's a lot of kind of doom and gloom news out there, but it's really exciting and there are so many opportunities for small business owners more than ever before.
Thank you. That is a great way to think about it. As we've been drinking from the fire hose today, that is a great way to sum up and think about it. It's opportunities. And like AJ said in his challenge, start small, but start. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.